Hi friends. I feel like we're just cool with the fact now that my bed's never made. Usually I make it right after I film, which is like Maddie. Girlfriend. Who is she also? She got ready today? What? I don't know who she is either. Okay. What's up guys? My name's Maddie. If you're new, hi, howdy, hey, how are ya? My hair's a mess. It was a mess before I got pregnant and has only gotten worse. So yeah, so this shirt keeps riding up on my boobs and so make me mad. If you guys are new, my name is Maddie, like I said, or Madeline, you know, there's a ton of us, but I am 27 weeks pregnant tomorrow and I'm 21 years old, and I'm gonna be doing the controversial parenting tag video today. I haven't watched any of these recently. I fell into a kick of them like 2 years ago, I think. But I don't know if this is even still a thing. So I haven't read these questions and I'm actually getting them off of someone's blog. But, blog, I'm gonna answer them today and we're just gonna have like a chat, okay? I got ready, I wanna film a video. This one seems interesting. Pro-life or pro-choice? This is, ooh, we're hitting it off with a tough one. Okay, before I even start this, I guess I want to give a disclaimer that these are all my own opinions. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I do not want to start a fight, which I honestly don't even want to answer this first question, but I'm going to. I have recently, in the past like year or so, become pro-life. Now, before y'all come for me, that does not mean that I'm kind of, okay, I feel like there's a continuum and people like to act like there's only the two ends of the continuum, but you can be in the middle-ish. So for me, I could never get an abortion. And if someone I knew was pregnant and was wanting an abortion, I think that I wouldn't be ugly to her, but I would sit her down and be like, let's really think about this before you make that decision. If she still decided to get one, I would still be her friend. It would make me very sad. I do believe, personally, life begins after there's a heartbeat, so about 18 days. And that's where I feel like a lot of this debate is around, like, when does life start? Does life begin at conception? Does life begin at heartbeat? Does life begin after the first trimester's over, when the baby gets here? Whatever. In the state of Texas, last time I checked, you can get an abortion up to 16 weeks, which seems like a really long time to me. Pregnancy is 40 weeks, so you're a month shy of being halfway. So there's just a lot there. So for me personally, I would say I'm pro-life, but I'm also not going to go stand outside of abortion clinics. I'm not going to tell people, like, if they've had one, that I think they're a horrible person. Personally, I think life has value. I think that babies are a gift, and I think there's better alternatives to abortion. And another thing, living in the state of Texas, they teach abstinence instead of safe sex in health class. And I think that is another issue because you can't be pro-life and anti-safe sex talk. That's my opinion, because people are going to have unwanted pregnancies. And if you have a girl that's very uneducated, very young and pregnant and doesn't want the baby, she's more likely to not tell someone. She's not going to take care of herself. And eating right and taking care of yourself during pregnancy is so important. And so that's my opinion. I think that we need to educate kids on safe sex. We need to make birth control available because kids are having sex. Even if you think it's wrong, and that's a conversation for you to have with your child. But if a kid wants to have sex, and I say kid, meaning like someone under 18, you're gonna have sex. That's just the way it is. So giving them the tools to prevent STDs in pregnancy, I think, is the best bet. You also, I mean, don't be like, yeah, you're gonna have sex, so here you go. Go have fun. No, have those conversations, but also, if they're gonna have sex, they're gonna have sex. Does that make sense? So that's my opinion on all that. The next one is baby wearing. I don't know why this is controversial. I do plan on baby wearing. I have a carrier already that's like more of a structured one, and then I do want to get like a wrap. I think baby wearing is really cool. You know, she's gonna have spent 10 months inside of me, so I'm gonna want her close, and I'm sure she's gonna want to be close, so I don't know why that's controversial. Okay. Ooh, this one's spicy. Circumcision. Okay, so this was something where I was always like, I don't get why it's so heavily done in the United States. It's strange to me. So we're gonna go down another rabbit hole for just a second. So there's other countries where they do female circumcision, which is like very traumatizing to the area. Like it is very different. I see a lot in this argument of like, when people are anti-circumcision, they're like, well, female circumcision is bad and they're doing that in other countries, and like basically try to equate the two, and that it's mutilation. The female circumcision like leads to infection. Girls have died from it, and it's a lot more traumatic to our area because it affects, like, they're left usually with a very small hole to pee out of, and you know, then they have to be ripped open when, like, okay, y'all are gonna have to do research into that. So I don't like that argument for people being like, that's why it's wrong. I know it's a common thing here in the US. Personally, I don't see a need for it. So if we were gonna have a son, we were not gonna circumcise him. And I know there's this whole like, the cleanliness. Listen, if you're not cleaning yourself anyway, it's gonna be gross whether or not you have a foreskin. So I mean, you just need to clean it. I've heard the argument of like the aesthetics or how it looks. Penises look weird, okay? I don't feel like it's I just don't think it's needed. I have talked to guys. I'm a curious person. I'm a very open person. And so I've asked guys like, hey, you know, are you cut or uncut? And do you wish you were the other way? And most of the guys that are, I've only talked to one guy that's uncircumcised. The guys that are circumcised are always like, oh my God, I'm so glad my parents did that. Usually is what they say. Now the guy that's not circumcised was like, I mean, it's a dick, and whoops, I shouldn't say that word. It doesn't affect him, and he, whatever. He doesn't wish that he was cut. So it's just, I wouldn't do that. I was going to bring up baby piercings, but that's 2 questions down. So I'll get to that there because I feel like they're kind of related. So if I have a son, I would never get him circumcised. I feel like that's just wrong. If someday he decides that he wants to be circumcised, then I would support him doing that. But I don't see a medical need for it, and I feel like it's just like not needed. You know what I mean? Same thing with like tongue ties. I have a tongue tie and I was fine. And I see a lot of parents today like cutting their babies' tongue-in-cheek ties. So that's something where if she has those, I'm not going to be super quick to cut them because I still have a tongue tie and I'm fine. So I just think babies go through enough, dude. Like, they just came out into this world and are adjusting. Like, let's not make it more difficult for them. Okay, adoption. So I don't know if this means me adopting or me giving away one of my children. I could never give up one of my children. I think adoption, first of all, is just a beautiful thing. It gives kids homes that otherwise may not have one. And it's meant to give them loving and safe homes when they wouldn't otherwise have one. You know, I'm sitting super close to my laptop charger and it's not plugged in. So I think it's beautiful. I don't see an issue with it. Do I see myself adopting? It's really expensive. I did a video when I was 16 and I was like, I want to adopt. And I feel like it's, again, something really beautiful, but I don't know. I don't feel called to adopt at this time in my life. And I don't know what that looks like. I guess, is what I'll say about that. But I do think that it is cool. One of my dogs is knocking. What's poppin'? Me. I actually don't look that big in this shirt, but overall, I think adoption is a beautiful thing. I know that there have been cases like the Micah Stauffer thing that has happened. If y'all don't know about that, you must be living under a rock. But there are kids, I'm not justifying what she did, but I feel like she gave adoption a bad rap overall. And the issue isn't that he was adopted. The issue is that he was your son that you gave away. It would be just as messed up if she gave up one of her biological children after having them for years, if not, you know, or their whole life. So I think adoption, I also know it can be a very sad thing, though. I know the foster care system's flawed. I know that there are, you know, cases, this is a loaded thing. Y'all know. Y'all are aware. Okay, baby piercing. I wouldn't, I have a lot of piercings, but I chose to get all of them. I have a lot, well, I don't even have that many anymore. So I got my first ear piercing when I was 9. You wanna come here? I got my second ear piercing when I was 11. Got my cartilage when I was 12. I was the cool girl. And then I got my third earring hole for my 15th birthday. I had my tragus pierced at one point, and I got that when I was 15. But it didn't heal right. That's a whole nother story. I got my belly button pierced on my 18th birthday. I got my nose pierced when I was 18. Then I graduated. I had my septum pierced when I was 19. Or was it my 20th birthday? It was my 20th birthday when I got my tattoo. So yeah, I was old enough to be like, hey, I want these piercings. And my parents said, cool. So I would not pierce my baby. I did get my ears pierced the first time when I was 5, but I didn't like the way it felt when my mom cleaned them, and it was like really traumatic. So was I 5? No, I was 3. I was 3 because my brother wasn't born. I knew I was 3 or 5. So I was 3, and I was like, I want them done, and it just didn't go well. So someday if my daughter wants her ears pierced, I think the youngest I would let her get them pierced is like 6 or 7, because it's a responsibility and I'm still gonna have to help her. And yeah, also I would get it done with a needle, not a piercing gun. So piercing guns are bad juju. So yeah, I don't think baby piercings, they're not necessary. I don't think they're that cute. It's like putting makeup on a baby. You don't need it. Okay, breast versus formula. Okay, this is something I'm seeing a push. I've seen this on TikTok and on Pinterest of moms that are like, I don't want to breastfeed and I don't like that I'm pushed to breastfeed in the hospital. And then they're, you know, fed is best. Yes, 100%. I personally have always seen breastfeeding as a very beautiful thing. And I know there's women that can't, like, know off the bat they're not going to be able to. But I think if you can try it, that you should. I'm really excited. I do plan on breastfeeding on demand as well as exclusively breastfeeding. Yeah, there's a lot of important stuff in there. Hi. If for some reason it's not working, I want her fed. I want her healthy. I was breastfed for like a couple weeks, and then my mom's milk supply dried up, and I was a formula baby after that, and I turned out fine. So I don't think you're gonna like ruin your child. Ruin. My dad says I say that word weird, so ruin your child, but I think that it's important. Okay, so cry it out versus others. I can't do the cry it out. Not when they're little, for sure. I know there's like studies and everything, and everything points to no. If you actually do your research, that it's yeah. So I don't plan on doing the cried out method. She will be in a bassinet in our room with the owlet sock, and I know it can get to a point where they're crying just to wake you up, especially as they get older and they're just wanting to play or whatever, which we'll address that when we get to it, but the cry it out will not be Okay, smacking. I don't like that word. Do we mean spankings? So when I was growing up, I was really well behaved, like me and my siblings, and we didn't really have to have timeouts or spankings or anything. Do you want to come up here? Come here. No, Mammy, you can jump. Come on. I got the little dogs. Now they're gonna play behind me. So I'm not against spanking, but we will not hit our children with objects. So like no belts, spoons, and I don't want spanking to be out of anger. I know I would like to not spank my children. However, I know that there will be times where they are just not getting it. And I'm going to be like, what are we doing? So as much as I would like to be like, no, I'm going to be this perfect mom. No, I do plan on following like a lot of Montessori methods and just like being a very gentle parent. So I do plan, like, I'm not just going to say no to my children either. I'm going to explain no because of this. And like, I'm not going to baby proof my house. Like, I was raised very like free spirit, like whatever, like my mom, there's baby things where I'm like, did you use this? And she's like, no. Like the faucet cover, she's like, you're not going to leave them alone in the bathtub. And I'm like, oh yeah. And she's like, you're fine. So I just, different strokes for different folks. There were times where I was spanked, you know, where I would really be acting out, or I'd really do something like dumb, where they were like, don't do that, this is why, don't do that, and then I'd do it again, and I'd get a spanking. For me though, growing up, my parents telling me that they were disappointed in me was like the worst. You could spank me, and it hurt my feelings, but if my parents pulled out the disappointed word, I was crushed. So we had a really good relationship, and I hope to have that with my children, like mutual respect and stuff. Okay, co-sleeping. There's a lot of opinions on this. This is a loaded question. So what I'm doing is considered co-sleeping by some, with her being in the bassinet right next to me. She will not be in our bed. My boyfriend is 6'7". He's 280 pounds, I think. I used to say almost 300, and he was like, baby, do you want me to say you're almost whatever? And I'm like, okay, I'm just saying like you're large. He's a large man. And we only have a queen, and we don't have a lot of room. And we just got a soft mattress with like a pillow top on it. So all of that makes it unsafe. Archie sleeps in bed with me, how a lot of parents co-sleep, like mamas co-sleep. I sleep on my side in the seat position, and he sleeps in my arms. That's my dog though. He also usually sleeps on his back. Or he sleeps cuddled into me, facing me. Or sometimes like I'll spoon him. However, he's a dog. He can get up and move if he gets hot. If he can't breathe, he can move. I am conscious of him, obviously, and I sleep fine. However, it scares me with my baby. When she gets here, I do plan on still having Archie in bed with me, because I'm going to get up to breastfeed her, so I don't fall asleep with her in my arms in the bed. And also, he's just my little dude. He's my little buddy. Look at him. I love him to death. So, home versus public versus private schooling. We do plan on using public schools. However, I am not, okay, so my sister, when she was in preschool, was it kindergarten? We went to preschool. But I remember like if there were times where we only wanted to do half days and stuff, my mom was really accommodated. Oh my God. And like we would get mental health days too growing up, which was nice. But I want to instill a love of learning in my children, and so I want to find things that interest them and help them explore those interests at home and teach them, and then they can go to public school. However, like my sister was in kindergarten, I think, or preschool, and she was like, I just don't like this right now. Like she, for some reason, was just like not having it. And my mom pulled her out for like a week, I think, and she went to my grandma's house and did like schooling there. So I think listening to your children, being accommodating to what they need, is important. So yeah, also every year in between grades, like every summer, we'd get a workbook for the next grade, and we would also have like spelling words and things like that. So I was always instilled with this love of learning, and we would have like projects during the summer, I mean all this stuff. And so I want to give that to my children as well. And like we had Khan Academy, we had to do so many lessons on and everything. And sometimes, especially as I got older, I found that it wasn't as beneficial as when I was younger. But like especially as I got into high school, I was like, no, Dad, I don't want to do this. But like what, you learned to write in like first grade. So after kindergarten, my parents got me like a writing workbook, and I was already ahead of the game. And then I struggled with math. Math was always my worst subject. So working on the math I was going to be learning that school year was always really helpful as well. And whenever I was curious about things, I would make like a whole project. I made like a whole project about dolphins and echolocation in like 3rd grade at home, just because I was curious. Vaccinations. Yeah, I'm for the vaccines. I am. This could be a whole video in and of itself, but I was fully vaccinated. Actually, whatever shot you have to get to go off to college, I don't remember what one it is, but I had gotten it when I was 16. And I was gonna go off to school, had my shot record, and they were like, you have to get this shot. And I was like, I got it, like it's right there. And they were like, it's only good for 2 years. So I actually had to get it again. And I was kind of like miffed about it, like I was a little annoyed. And my mom was like, I love you, that's why you got it. So yeah, I am pro-vaccine, and if you, or I'm for vaccines. Medicating children, okay. I don't know if this means like, they have a fever, do you give them Tylenol? They're teething, do you give them, Tylenol, Motrin? That I'm gonna play situation to situation. I know sometimes it's okay to let them run a little bit of a fever before you medicate them, because their body's trying to get out whatever, or they're teething. Medicating when it comes to like ADD, ADHD, as well as like depression. So I have personal experience with all of that. So my brother, when he was in kindergarten, his teachers were like, we can't tell you to go get him tested, but you might want to look into that, because if they say something, the school has to pay for it, which means that a lot of kids that show signs of ADD and ADHD aren't properly helped. Now, I know that there's an overdiagnosis of children with, they love to slap on ADD and ADHD diagnoses, whatever. However, Carter definitely has it. He's 16 now. And at first my parents, I don't think medicated him. I think that they tried, one-on-one teaching, different types of things. They worked with the school. Now, as he got older, they were able to communicate, he's able to communicate about these medications. So it's something that's important to keep in mind here. If your child had diabetes, for example, you would give them insulin. And you would monitor their diabetes with them, and their blood sugar, and you can see clearly if the medication is working or not. When it comes to mental illnesses, or I don't know if ADD and ADHD are considered mental illnesses. I forget what they're considered. But these things go based off of how you are feeling. There is not, there's tests, but they're not like physical tests. They can't take your blood, or they can't take a scan of your brain and see if it's working. Do you know what I mean? They might be able to take a scan of your brain, but they're not going to do that to be like, oh, is this one working? No. I was put on antidepressants when I was 15. And something I've learned is that being able to communicate about whether or not it's working is really important. And so if you're going to medicate your child for something, listening to them. And there were times where I was like, I might want to get off my antidepressant. And so talking with your doctor and your child and being present is so important. Again, with Carter's medications, being aware of the side effects, being aware of, he doesn't like this one. And being okay to change and try new things is so important. I also want to say it is not the answer to medicate your child and then not seek therapy. Neither one is a magic fix, and I think that they work best together. Just my opinion. Okay. Cloth versus disposable diapers. I'm doing the disposable. I know, sue me. Store-bought baby food versus homemade. You know, guys, I really want to be like, I'm going to be that mom that does like the homemade baby food. I'm not. And I know the sugar and the whatever. I know. Everything's bad for you, though. I will, you know, if we're eating something that the baby can have or that I think would be really good ground up, I will ground some up for her. I will put it in my little blender and blend it up for her. But no. I also want to be one of those moms that like pumps and donates it, but I'm not even getting a breast pump. If y'all haven't seen my baby anti-haul, I'll link that in the cards. If I remember, it'll be down below. It's also in my baby playlist. So, like I said at the beginning of the video, this is my opinion. I don't think any of these things are going to wreck your child. At the end of the day, we're all just trying to do the best we can. So, you know, you do the best you can as a parent. The most important thing for me is to be a kind and loving parent and to raise kind and loving children that turn into kind and loving people. I don't think that there is enough kindness in this world and enough love. And so I want to instill that in my children. I want to instill giving people the benefit of the doubt, helping your neighbor, and that is most important to me, I guess. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I don't want to start a fight. If your opinion differs, that's fine. You can leave it down below. But if it's disrespectful, I can delete comments. So I just want to say that. I also want to say that I don't think anything I said is going to change when she's here, because, I mean, I think I was pretty like about everything, I guess. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I'm kind of putting myself out there with this one, so be nice. If you guys are new, this is your first time on my channel and you stayed this long, hit subscribe. We're vibing. Or you don't like me, and you just wasted a lot of your day. That's okay. Hi. But yeah. Y'all stay tuned for our next video. Bye, guys.